What is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Joel Friday TV podcast. I am Joel Friday. Bienvenido. Welcome to the show. Amazing. It's Tuesday, so that means we're live on YouTube and on Instagram today. So we're getting into it. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit that like button. Smack it. Lay the smack down on like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we can get the subscribers up and the message out. Do it now. You still got time. Topics to be covered. Today, what are we talking about? What are we talking about today, Joel? Today, we're talking about the illegal immigrants in New York City are being given free debit cards with money on them to be used for certain things. And I'm like, interesting. You know the emoji that's like this? That's how I'm feeling. So we're going to get into it and we're going to talk about it. And guess what? You could talk about it too with me by calling in 888-775-3773 if you want to, right? I can't always read every comment in the chat, even though I try to here and there. But it's better if you want to talk about it, if you want to disagree or agree, we can talk about it on air. You know what I mean? And nobody will see you, nothing like that. It'll just be your voice. And you don't even have to use your real name. But we could talk about the issue at hand. So the migrants, the illegal immigrants are in New York City and they're being given prepaid cards. And I have something to say about it. So we're going to get into that. Excuse me. If you cannot call in, but you still have a question, you still want to make a comment, you can super chat. You can send a super chat by going to the chat box there, the YouTube. And you can hit the super chat button and you can send a question or comment there and I'll read it live on air, as well as by going to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. And there I can read your chats as well.
You want to do open door?
He didn't run to the show to tell me if I want the door closed and it was already closed. The door was already closed. You just wanted to come here and interrupt me, yeah. It was already closed.
You know, I call open it for you. You want the air?
Jesse Lee Peterson. Jesse Lee Peterson, folks. Infamous. Infamous for barging in. But for some weird reason, and I don't even want to say this because it's gonna like fuel them up. For some odd reason, the chat loves it when Jesse just pops in. I have pain, but the chat it loves it. Tell Jesse to come back in. So, whatever. Anyway, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV and you can send your question or comment there, or just to support the show. You know what I mean? That's always nice. What I want to do is I want to get to super chats right off the bat really quick because you guys sent some yesterday and or last week and I didn't get a chance to get to them. You know, I only got an hour. So let me just get to a few of them here and then we'll get to the topic at hand because I know you guys are itching to talk about these illegal immigrants. So Jessica with 3 donuts says, thank you, Jessica, by the way. And she says, the only show I know with Friday in their name and yet don't have a show on Friday. What the? I know. Isn't that crazy? Monday through Thursday, but not Friday. Maybe in the future, who knows? But right now, just Monday through Thursday. But I appreciate it, Jessica. You the best. And then there's also, we have some super chats from last week. Birdie Brown Brian says, if you can't see the lie of temptation, go through it and watch it yourself so you can learn to walk away. Absolutely. Instead of being so afraid of like making a mistake or doing wrong, just do it if you're unsure, right? Just do it and then be aware of it and keep your eyes on it and learn from it. No big deal. Oftentimes, the best lesson is from experience. So, um, yeah, go through, just live life and just experience and just figure things out as you go. So thank you, Birdie Brown Brian. Appreciate it. Esoteric says, worth the work to find an old friend to forgive. I don't think you need to. So he's asking if he should forgive an old friend. If there's like a resentment there towards that friend or whatever, because they had like this negative influence on you, and you feel like it's necessary to go forgive them, then fine. But I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily something that you need to do. Like, unless it's more so the parents, and it could be, obviously there's different situations. Some people are raised by the grandma, uncles, aunts, but it's the people who raised you typically are the ones who had the biggest impact on you when it comes to your anger and the things you're dealing with. So that's where the source comes from, the people who affected you. But I don't think that after you forgive your parents that you need to go back and forgive every single person who's wronged you, because then the list will be forever. You know what I mean? But if you see you need to forgive this specific person for whatever reason, then you should. But anyway, I hope that answers the question, Esoteric. Let me get to the topic at hand here. How's it going, chat? YouTube, how we doing? Let's see YouTube. I like that it's not on Friday, says CQ. Yeah, the little day off is, well, it's not really a day off, but it's a day off from the show, but I'm still working. Nice shirt, Joel. Thank you, Hillary. Appreciate it. Fun fact. Joel Friday used to originally air on Tuesday only. Friday on a Tuesday. What the? This is true. And by the way, guys, this month makes a full year since I started the podcast. Isn't that crazy? I started on February 14th of last year, 2023, Valentine's Day. And yeah, this 14th this year will be, which is a Wednesday, I believe, will be a full year I've had a show. Oh shoot, I got kicked out of here on the computer. Uh-oh. Instagram, how we doing? Hey, stop talking, tell us the brutal truth. Hi, I'm new to the podcast. Hey, Lucky Charms. All right, I got to get to the topic. So, it's clear that we know, that most people know, that there are asylum seekers. They call them asylum seekers, right? But illegal immigrants that live in the United States, we know that, right? But also who are continuing to come through and cross the border and live in the United States without papers and, work underneath the table and all that stuff. We know that to be true, right? And I think that the most common perspective of this in the world is that, like, poor them, they need help, they're fleeing from danger in their country, we should help them, let's open the doors for them and let them in because that's what Jesus do. That's like the common, like, perspective on how we should deal with illegal immigration. But I'm not saying that I totally disagree with that. There's parts about that I do agree with, but I want to bring for my audience, a lot of you who know the show and know Bond, you guys know what I'm gonna say. Maybe you don't, but then for the new people, I also want to give you guys my perspective on just what's truly going on and the results of the things that we tend to do in this country that I also disagree with. So have an open mind, new and old people who watch the show. Have an open mind And let's talk about it. So I have this picture. I'm gonna read from this article, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what's going on. So follow along with me just for a quick second. Bear with me. Be patient and sit still. So this is from News Station. While Congress is still battling over a border bill, Democrat New York City Mayor Eric Adams has a new plan to give $53 million in prepaid debit cards to migrant families. And Adams says it will save the city money, but critics say handouts will only have the migrant crisis worse. And then it goes on, pick number 2, to say the prepaid debit card will supply 500 immigrants. Are you there? Did you switch it? Pick number 2. 500 migrant families with children to use exclusively to buy food and baby supplies and groceries and whatever they need, right? The prepaid debit card will be used in place of New York City's current system of providing non-perishable food boxes to migrant families staying in hotels, right? So you can cut back to me. So basically what this is this new program that's being used for illegal aliens to where they're able to have a prepaid debit card to buy their foods and stuff like that. How it was working before this was introduced is that grocery stores were working with like inner city, what would you call it, shelters to provide free food to the illegal immigrants that were coming into the country. And a lot of that food was getting left unused and spoiled, right? So what they wanted to do is they wanted to cut the prices in half of having to buy that type of food for the illegal immigrants and just give them debit cards instead, so that way they can choose what food they want to buy and they don't have to take the leftovers. They don't have to eat bread or whatever's left, right? They can choose what they want to do and how they want to spend the money with this prepaid debit card, right? And part of the reason why they're doing that, just to give you guys some context, is because mostly, let's be honest, mostly is because it's going to be saving the city a lot of money, right? They won't be wasting so much money on the food that's going to waste. They'll be able to cut it in half, or I don't know about if it's half or a quarter or whatever, but they'll be able to save money just by giving them debit cards. But the way the city goes about, like, and this is just a lot of like, this is how a lot of the America is being ran, right? Meaning like, oftentimes it's more so about the saving a penny opposed to actually doing right by the people. So we obviously know that that happens. That's no conspiracy theory. We know that the government is oftentimes about money and power and all that stuff, right? So this is where my concern comes in, right? This is where I want to bring a little bit of perspective into this whole thing, is because what I realized in my life personally, how handouts have never, ever, 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 ever been helpful to society. Ever. In my life, in the people I know's life, it's never been good, right? And the reason why is because really what it does at the core of it is handouts steals your suffering away. It steals your suffering. And it really destroys the spirit of people. It really does. And then we also oftentimes, like, the emotional side of human beings is like, well, this will be helpful. You know how like mom does in the house? The mother is like, well, I can see that they're sad and my child's sad and he's hungry and hurt. So let me like give him gifts, cook him food, right? But oftentimes you're not allowing that nature within to develop, right? It weakens the spirit of man within, man and woman. It doesn't allow them to suffer. Suffering is good, right? And when you give people things for free without earning it, without working for it, then you tend to weaken their like independence, right? Their drive to figure life out, their survival skills. They don't develop, so they end up just getting used to receiving things, and they become fat and sassy, right? And we think that it's being helpful. And I understand sometimes people just need a little help here and there, right? But this is not help here and there, right? This is outright giving people free stuff. And it's appreciated when it's earned. You're more humble when it's earned. You're grateful when it's earned. And actually, when money is earned or things are earned, then you want to go out and do more, right? Or you want to go out and give to others. And like I said, there's a time where it's okay to gift people things. You know, maybe you see their hard work and you want to gift them, but not just for nothing. Because then they're going to end up taking advantage of you and walking all over you. I'm going to give you guys an example. It's like, think about those like kids that you see, those bad kids that you see in like the grocery store, right? Screaming and yelling loud, right? And you're like, I just wish that parent would just tell them to just smack them. I disavow violence, YouTube. But you know how like, you're like, man, I just wish the parents would just like put them in their place, and they don't. That's exactly how people, when you give them free stuff, whether it's a child, an adult, no matter what it is, they're going to behave that way, because by default, you're weakening their independence, their discipline, and you're feeding their ego, their feelings, right? So they can't help but be out of control. Just like that little child in the store, right? If the little child in the store wasn't spoiled or didn't get everything they want, they wouldn't be overreacting when they were told no. And it's a duty. It's a duty of people to treat people in that way. That's love, to make them earn their way. It's love to make people work. It's love to let people suffer. And like I said, there's a time and place here and there where you can like be generous and give to people and like help them out when they truly need it. But you also don't want to get in the way of people suffering, because suffering builds character. Suffering makes you grateful, and suffering makes you seek God. Think about all the times when life was just so hard and you just needed an answer. That's when we go to God. But if everybody just all constantly just giving you stuff, hugging you, hugs and kisses all the time, that nature inside of you doesn't develop. So I don't think that it's smart to be giving people free stuff. I think it's a mistake. And I want to give you guys a little scripture, so you guys don't think like I'm making this stuff up, or there's nobody else who thinks like this, or for the new people, right, that are watching and listening. Is that from Romans 5:3-4. It says, not only that, but we rejoice in our suffering, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. You rejoice in your suffering because it's developing that nature in you to try to figure out life, how to take care of yourself, how to take care of your family, how to become independent, how to be disciplined, how to not overreact, how to not be controlled by your emotions, how to overcome your emotions, how to deal with people, how not to take things personal, how not to be offended. You can't learn any of that stuff unless you suffer. We gotta suffer. And the very reason, this is deep, make sure you listen. The very reason why the country is so out of control now is because of giving people everything they want. Because of no discipline, right? No disciplinary action. So when you're trying to give these handouts, just know you're creating the murderer. You're creating the this and this and that. And creating is the bad word. More like you're aiding to it. You're a part of the problem. It destroys the spirit of man. And then when the spirit of man is destroyed, reckless. And look at like how the black community is. Look at the black community. Like the crime and the killings and the murder, right? The theft. What exactly is that? The angry people, right? Angry people who are overly emotional, right? But their parents didn't teach them, and this is heavy in the black community. The parents didn't teach them how to really be independent thinkers, and to do right, and to develop these survival instincts. Because in the black community, survival instincts is like, what they believe as survival instincts is that you do what you gotta do to eat, to make money, right? But that's the false version, because then you end up stealing, you end up breaking the law and doing wrong in order to survive. That's not real survival instincts. Survival instincts is when you're so hungry that you cry out to God, for one, so he can guide us in all things of what to do next. But then you figure out, dang, I really just need to get a job. Or I really need to get my life together, because this ain't working. And if you do end up in that situation, and sometimes it gets so hard, right, that we're tempted to go steal and do the wrong thing, then if that happens, we're honest about it and we don't justify it and be like, well, I was so hungry I had to do it. No, stop lying. So we need to stop learning we need to learn how to not just be giving people stuff. Or even not just being like so passive about things. And I'm learning this in my own life as well. But just think about if you let somebody in your family into your home, right? And you gave them a bunch of things for free. You let them stay, and you say you can eat as much food as you want, stay as long as you want. Do you think they will ever leave? They won't, because they have no incentive. They don't have enough suffering to want to get up and go and make it happen. So I was wondering why I was hiding here. Can we turn the vent off? Is it off?
Yeah, I just turned it off.
I was wondering what. It's all right. But anyway, I hope that makes sense. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to get to some super chats. Let me see if there's some super chats here real quick. There's a super chat.
Super chats.
Renesio bought a donut. Renesio, you have a good comment, and I'm gonna get to it right now, but I just want to take this call because this call is a little bit on topic. Renesio, I'm gonna get back to your super chat there in a second. Let me get to Brian. Mind you, the calls are open. 888-775-3773. You can call in and we can discuss. Hey, I could be wrong. That's why you guys can call in and we can discuss it and we can kind of go from there. Brian, welcome to the show. You're on air.
Thanks, Joel. How you doing?
How's it going, Brian?
I can't complain, man.
Nice.
Your topic today just reminded me of something I saw this morning about excuse me, catch my breath. I was in the gym. Forgive me.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I saw a video of Eric Adams, I guess, apparently responding to something 50 Cent said about him not helping the black people.
Eric Adams, 50 Cent. Okay, fair enough.
And when he was sitting there talking to the people, he was giving like a speech. He was he was responding to 50 Cent. And when he was stating how this bill is going to help everybody, including black people, I couldn't help but notice how he's literally leading black people back into slavery.
What
how
bill?
It's just a repeat cycle. Huh?
What bill was he referring to?
It was something that approved like some sort of like I think it was either 50 or 80 something $million fund for immigrants or something like that.
Oh. Do you know exactly what the details were?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't.
But go ahead.
I was just stating while he was speaking.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but notice how he's just selling them something that's obviously good. Like it blatantly is not good for the people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's something for immigrants. But then he's selling it not only to everybody, but specifically to black people.
Yeah.
Like this is great for us also as a minority.
Yeah.
But it's not true. And black people are going away. I mean, we heard the guy talk earlier how black people's population is going down because of the increase in immigrants.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just couldn't help but notice how when he was talking like that, he's like literally selling black people back into slavery.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what's crazy is that, just to make that point too, is that, well, for one, people, JLP talked about on the show, and I think James did as well, but there's this propaganda that is so easily accepted in the world, especially when people who don't think or think for themselves or try to understand, they just accept the propaganda. And that's what that kind of stuff sounds like. Like it sounds nice, it sounds like it's helpful, but that's a shallow way of thinking. And black people, like for 50 Cent, if this is true what you're saying, is that they just get caught up in the propaganda of things and not really thinking like if it's helpful or not even really even paying attention.
Well, I think it's more about, to your point, which is, you know, constantly wanting to help people out and give people things.
That's true too.
Because that's really what he's doing. He's preying on the fact that black people are angry and they want to be given something, and so he's falsely including them inside of this thing that's just padding his pockets and other people. True. But it's leading them right back in, and it's because they've been helping them so long. Where's the suffering? Right,
and that's
now.
I'll go ahead. Finish.
Ahead. No, go ahead. I'm pretty much done.
But yeah, that's the false. That's the shallow mindset of is what I'm saying as well as. But you made the point clear there is that people think that that's helpful, and that's the thing is that and at one point I'm sure I believed the same thing, not really understanding. But the point is that you have to think about these things though. You have to really. And the crazy thing is that black people, especially these influential black people, should know these things, and I think they do, but just by looking around and seeing these handouts are not helping. It's not doing anything for the black community. Also, they know these celebrities and these rappers, they know when they just give their family members money because the family members know they're rich, they keep coming back for more and they keep begging.
Yep. So
it's like they should know that it's not working, but they just continue to do what they do. But I appreciate it. Brian, anything else on that topic?
No, sir, that was all. I remembered, maybe you brought it up, so I figured it was perfect time to share it.
Hey, man, great point. Thanks, man. Call me again.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Yeah, it's like it's crazy. And unfortunately for the and it's not even unfortunately, but the I kind of think it's a good thing. I kind of think it's a good thing. YouTube don't cancel me. That the illegal, and I don't want nobody, I don't think that, it's not that I don't want illegals here in the country, right? My thing is that if you're going to do it, do the right thing, right? Just do the right thing. My whole thing is that, like, my take on it is just be a decent person. Because if you come here, I'm not against people coming here. I'm just against, like, people with no morals. And there's even people in the country who have no morals that are here, right? So that's obvious. But we don't need more. And it's not that I don't want people here. And it's not even, and I think most people, it's not that you don't want people here, right? You just don't want bad people. You don't want people who cause more issues to the country, more crime, more things. And I think it's kind of good that the Mexicans tend to come into these communities, even though I don't want them to be illegal, but that they come in here because it kind of they kind of wash out the blacks, meaning like the inner cities, like in LA, some of them are being, like, what's the word, infiltrated, I guess, by the illegals, the immigrants, and it's pushing the blacks out. But because of that, there's way less crime that's happening in certain cities, right? So that's kind of not a bad thing. But the city itself is dirty. It's not taken care of. It looks like Mexico or all these other places. And it's not like what it should be, but the crime has gone down. So it's like a weird thing. It's a weird thing. But I don't know. Normally, I don't normally talk about a lot of this stuff, but I just been seeing some things like politics. But I just been seeing some things in the news and stuff that just been interesting to me, and I just wanted to talk about. So I may not even be making sense, but it's just too much going on. Let me get to another call, and then I'm going to get to the super chats. You can call in 888-775-3773. There are some lines open here, so you can call in. Let me go to Vicky out of Texas. Vicky, welcome to the show. You're on air.
Hey, Joelle, how are you? It's been a while.
I know. How's it going, Vicky?
It's going well.
Right
I
on.
love your topic. You're spot on. I agree with you 100%.
Right on.
As spiritually, though, bro, we have to get deep on this because, like, I was the helicopter mom that always cleaned up after her kids. I spoke for my kids. My will was shoved in their faces. And I've asked all, they're adults now, but I have one that has really gone off.
Yeah.
And she has been into the fentanyl up in Seattle for a while.
The fentanyl?
Fentanyl.
Wow.
Like, she's had to be revived twice.
Wow.
I've gotten those phone calls in the middle of the night. And I tell you, prior to being born again, I used to suffer. Like, I put her through rehab 3 different times.
Yeah.
And it never worked, never ever worked. She would leave, she would, AMA herself out and leave, and then she'd take off. And then, I would send her money. She would call at 2, 3 in the morning when I was sleeping all the time and said, hey, I'm at Denny's. Can you buy me this and put it on your credit card? And there was all, get me a room for the night. I mean, I was like giving and giving and giving, and she was getting worse and worse and worse. And then seeing that I didn't want her to go and buy drugs, and then me saying, I know what Satan was up to, because he was already making me feel guilty, even though I had asked her to forgive me for being that helicopter mom that wouldn't let her suffer and be on her own path.
Yeah.
So it's like I just cut her off because I knew, because God told me, don't do it anymore. Like, he was like, stop it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's my will. It's not yours. Just end it. And you don't know how hard that was for me in the beginning to just end it with her, and not even take her phone calls. And that was for most mothers, because I went through that, having to go through that. It's the spiritual thing that keeps you on the path. And, you know, to do the right thing.
Really quick, Vicky, just to chime in there.
Yeah.
For the ladies that are listening and the women that maybe want to become mothers or might end up becoming mothers, why was it hard? What was the hard part about just letting her suffer, even though you knew that's what she needed?
Because you think that you know what's best, right? When you're not born again, you think that you know what's best for your child, when in reality it's not even your kid. You just gave birth to a soul, right? So you gave birth to a soul that God wanted to be here, you know? And so you have to let go of all of that and see that it's his kid. So you got to take your hand off of it.
Yeah.
And whatever I've accepted the fact, and I've told her this, I've accepted the fact that I could lose you and not ever see you again.
Yeah.
I have already come to that.
Yeah.
I've been down that with you.
Yeah.
So, and I've told her, you're suffering because you're choosing to be in hell when you don't have to be in hell. It's your choice. And then she would get into all this numerology and all this stuff and call me up and say, oh, this, and this. And I was sending her all kinds of stuff from Jesse, like on her messenger. I was just flocking her. And like, was it 2 weeks ago? Not even 2 weeks ago, she called up again early in the morning, but this time she was crying about something different. And she said that she understands now about forgiveness, because she's got 3 kids, right?
Yeah.
And she's been homeless for like 3-4 years and had a lot of horrible things happen to her. And she has stopped blaming everybody. Like she doesn't, and I told her, listen, like, Sean, you can't even blame yourself, Shawnee. You can't.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the real you.
Yeah.
And so she's been like binge watching, you know, and listening, not just to Jesse, but to you guys too, you know. And so she is putting herself now, not like I forced her to go into places, but now she's putting herself in a place because she said, you know, Mom, I really need help, and I'm going to do it on my own. I can do this because now that I have forgiven you and I've forgiven Dad, you know, and her dad's very ill. So she said, I'm going to go see Dad and talk to him and forgive him, and she did. So now she's got that freedom and that peace where she understands that it's not me that did it. She forgave me. She forgave her dad, that she's looking inside, and she sees now that she's not an addict. She's not. She sees it. She sees that she's possessed. She sees that it's demons. And she said she has seen demons. You know, she knows that she is. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, it's God's in control. We're not. Take your hand off of, that's his kid. And that's just what I have to say.
No.
Take your hand off and just let him go.
Let it go. And what's nice about what you're saying too is that through the suffering, if she's learning these things, and time will tell, right? Through the suffering, as she continues to grow, that's where they'll start to listen. And all this propaganda and stuff, like you saying, the numbers and all that stuff, all that tends to dissipate when you suffer enough, right? Because that suffering is like, okay, I can't be thinking about these numbers. I got to figure out how I'm gonna get my life together. So letting people suffer is the best thing. But I also want to say
Yeah.
too is that this goes for all people, but mothers seem to like really struggle with this. Is that like that idea of trying to chime in comes from a place of attachment, right? We have mothers tend to have this attachment to their children that's all emotion, and because of that, it doesn't allow them to grow and develop and do the thing. But what that really is, and I think a lot of mothers don't really recognize, is that it's not love. What it is it's
No.
hate, because it's only thinking about self. Them being hurt hurts my feelings. Them suffering makes me feel bad as a mother, or whatever the case is. So all people really got to watch the attachment, but mothers have to realize that and not be attached. Just like you said, God is the one that is in control and is the one that's going to either allow her to overcome or not. So the attachment is what people really have to watch, because it's not love.
It's not love, and it is hate, and I see that very clearly. And
Yeah.
so you're spot on with that. And moms, let go, man. Those aren't your kids. Those are God's, first of all.
Yeah.
So take your hands off and let His will be done. And, it is what it is, Joelle, and I just thank you for bringing up that topic.
Yeah.
It's for everybody. It's not just for the illegals or the
Right.
blacks. My daughter's white, so
Yeah.
it's for everyone. This is just the spiritual battle we're in, but,
Yeah.
let them suffer.
Let
because
them suffer.
look where she's at. She's
Exactly.
doing her own thing.
And good luck to
But I'll
your
keep you posted.
yeah. Keep us updated. But good luck to your daughter, and I hope things continue to go as they go. But even if they don't, it's still all part of the process. So good luck to you
got
and the family. Thanks, Vicky,
Thank
for
you.
calling me.
Thank you, Joelle. Have a great day.
You
Love
as
you,
well.
bro.
Bye. The attachment is evil. That attachment is not love. That's hate, and we all have experienced it or are experiencing it. So we can't just say, "Oh, it's just women." Women tend to have it bad, right? Because the emotions, but men are there too. That attachment to things and cars, money, or people, or women, or whatever, right? There's still attachment that is not love. It's hate, because it's all about you, not about the other person. So we got some calls going in. Let me get to this super chat really quick, and then I'm gonna get back to the calls. 888-775-3773. We have some time, a little bit of time left here. Renesio says, great call by Vicky, by the way. Joelle, I am older than you, and yet I still don't understand women. It's easy to make them happy, but so difficult to see their point of view. It's easy to make them happy, but so difficult to see their point of view. How do you do it? I think they tried explaining it to me, but I wasn't listening. What's most important is you getting to know yourself. What's most important is getting to know yourself, because the more you know yourself, the more easier it is to understand other people, right? Because in some form or another, all human beings can relate to each other, male or female, right? So you got to get to know yourself. And also, you don't want to be attached. Or if you do have those feelings, you want to be able to recognize them and be able to see when you're in them. Because when you're in them and you're unconsciously in them, you end up trying to just please them because you want to get the prize, right? So you want to have some space there in the sense of your focus isn't trying to just understand them, it's focused on understanding you. But there is a proper way of, listening. Listen when they're talking or explaining something to you, listen. And when you listen and you pay attention to the way they behave and you just observe, then the answers will come. But if you're not seeing their point of view, then don't try to make yourself see, because maybe there's not a point to view. You know what I mean? Maybe they're just talking about a bunch of nothing, so you don't want to try to understand something that doesn't make sense. But don't focus on trying to make them happy and stuff like that, because that's easy. That's easy work. I hope that answers the question. Let's see. Let me check and then I'm gonna get back to calls right now. Let me just check, see if there's any other super chats coming in. Any other buy me a coffees. Check in. We got one from Iron Lion Sion. El Chapo Familia coming for us. They coming. They're coming. And it's not their fault that they're coming. It's our fault by letting them take over. This goes for all people, not just illegals. But we're talking about the illegal immigrants. We don't have to give them free stuff. We don't have to let them go out of control in the name of being nice or love or friendly. It's okay to say no. And it's okay to protect where you live, where you come from. That's not controversial, and that's not white supremacy. Or whatever they call it. Racism and stuff like that. Because because the white people want to keep their communities clean. That's not racism if they do not want any other color in there. That's not racism. They know their people, and not even their people, right? I don't like those terms, but they know that white people tend to keep things clean. And nobody want no dirty house, dirty neighborhoods, crime and stuff like that. So let me get back to the call. Let me go to Lucas. Lucas out of California. How's it going, Lucas? Long time no talk.
Hey, what's up, Joel? How are you doing?
Pretty good, man.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, what you think about like being nice. The definition of like being nice or nice is
a week.
And also, is it from God or is it from Satan or is it from both?
What, the nice?
Yeah, being nice and stuff. Because I feel like, you could be nice and deceive someone, and then you could be nice and actually mean it. And then on top of that, they don't believe you either way or whatever. So what is nice?
Nice from how I see it is, and this is from me seeing it in myself, it's just a people-pleasing thing, and it has nothing to do with being right or doing the right thing. It's just like protecting your ego and protecting yourself. Nice is a weakness, though. Kindness is different. Kindness is different. It's like there's a time where you can be kind to people when you see to be generous or whatever the case is, but being nice and always like smiling and in people's face and like letting them get away with things because you don't want to cause confrontation, that's a weakness, not a strength.
So if everybody around you is telling, even though you don't mean bad, you mean well.
Yeah.
But everyone around you is saying you're mean and you shouldn't talk like that, or why did you say that? But you mean well, but it maybe comes off wrong, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so then what's the solution to that?
Well, that's when you got to know yourself too, and know that there is a mean too, which is the same thing, and there is a disrespectful as well. Like you want to know when you're talking at the right time or saying things in the right moment, and not just coming from an ego place of just trying to like expose or like try to like get a rise out of the situation. Like you don't want to have that. Yeah. That's just the opposite end of nice. You know what I mean? You want to be able to be even killed, and you don't even want to have no desire to try to correct people, right? Because any desire to try to correct somebody or speak the truth is not going to be in the right time and the right moment. You just want to be living life. And then those moments will just make sense to you. So I would just
perfect. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking like, you know, like you can call this silent prayer, you can call it whatever you want, but just focusing on my thoughts and realizing that it's not me. Yeah. Because my thoughts are telling me like, you know, oh, you should be nicer. Yeah. And it's been hitting hard. Like it hasn't happened at all, but like except the last month, literally the last weeks, the last month, everybody's been saying, oh, I'm mean and I'm talking mean. And I'm like, I'm not cussing. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm not doing anything. I'm just speaking the truth. And so like I've been going through it like for the past month or so maybe.
And sometimes oh, go ahead, finish.
Oh no. Yeah, that's about it.
But sometimes people are just overreacting to you just being honest, right? And oftentimes that also happens too. That's why you want to know yourself and know when it's you that's off, or you know when they're just overreacting. But somebody is saying in the chat here, just don't judge. And that's really the answer, is that once you just don't have an opinion, like overly have an opinion about people.
I'll add on top of that, don't judge myself, because I've realized that I'm not even judging anyone. I'm judging myself. And then I'm like, oh, I should be nicer and da-da. And I know that's the worst thing. If you judge anything, judging yourself is the worst. I know that. Yeah. And actually people do it the most. I've realized as well, but they hide it, you know? Yeah. Like people judge themselves more than they judge anyone else. I've realized that.
Great point, man.
I know that we're all going through the same thing.
Exactly. So, great point. Yeah. And we're all just trying to learn and figure it out. So there should be no judgment at all. And that's really the cause of all the mess. But I appreciate it, Lucas.
One last thing I just want to say, guys. Like, I know I haven't been there to church and everything in a long time, but I miss you guys, and you guys are brothers to me. Even though y'all doing your own thing, I watch you guys all the time, and you guys are brothers to me. And thank you for taking my call.
Right on, man. No. We know you're still around, and every time you come, it's always what it is. So appreciate it, Lucas.
Awesome. Thank you, man. All right. You guys have a good day. Good night.
All right, man. Bye. You too. Bye. Yeah, everybody knows Lucas. Dang. Out of time. Great call, Lucas, and yeah, everybody knows you're a part of Bond, but I gotta end. Even though I want to keep talking to you guys, I'm looking at the chat, but I gotta end. But that's okay. I'm back here tomorrow. That's why we're here Monday through Thursday. We could pick up where we left off. No big deal, right? And we will go from there. But until next time, y'all, I gotta go. Follow me across the board, Joel Friday TV. And share, and like. And that way we can get the message out and all that good stuff. So, all right, y'all. Bye, Instagram. I appreciate it. See you next time. All right, guys. Peace.